Today I'm going to discuss about the integration between Angular and Spring Boot security with JWT. Before start the uh, discussion, I'm assuming you have already covered the Spring Boot security with JWT and also covered the Angular with the HTTP interceptor. Okay, so what is JWT token security? So it's not like for making the Spring Boot application more secure. It's for the first, it's authenticate you using the JWT token, and with the subsequent request we are using in the header to make it work. Okay, so first, post authentication we are passing the username password, and if it is a encoded, then only it will check with the database is encoded, like encrypted. So we are using, say here there is a two option here. If you go to the configuration in the Spring Boot, say is the password encoder. Okay, so big crypt password encoder. So then it will be in database or properties, it will be checked, because when you are giving that regular username password, and it what it will do, it will convert to the bcrypt password. Okay, and how it is that bcrypt online, you can generate the password. So this is going to generate it with the Spring Boot, and in the database or the property wherever you save the password, so it will going to check with that. Okay, so that is that password part. You can be normal password you can store in the database, or the encrypted password, encoded password, you can use it. Okay, for the next subsequent, say I have authenticate. So if you see the configuration here, you will find that only the authenticate, you that URL starts with authenticate, you can invoke it, but other case you are not able to invoke it. In earlier tutorial I have shown it, right? So in case of the authenticate, if you hit it, and it's going to authenticate, and it will going to provide you the token, and the other URL, say all users. Okay, so it's not authenticated, so it should not be allowed. So if you put it in the URL itself, that, sorry, it's not uh, all users. Okay, so here you will see that 403 forbidden error. Okay, so what you are going to do first, in the Spring Boot security with the JWT authentication, what I have done, that it's token, I collect that token and pass in the authorization as part of the header, and with the bearer, with the space with that token, I copy and copy paste here, and if you pass it here, you will find that value, right? So my intention is if using the Spring Boot I have already done, so same thing I will do from the Angular itself. Okay, so after invoking this authentication, what I am going to do, I am going to invoke the all users. Okay, so using Postman, you see that authorization have to set, right? So in Angular also I am going to do the same thing, right? So I do in the interceptor. So what change I have done, so let me show it what change I have to do that to mitigate that issue. Okay, so earlier what happened, right? Angular with that old concept of that interceptor, so btoa function, header call, stored them in the session, and in the new case, in the receive the token from the Spring Boot token, so earlier you have to use the btoa function, you no need to use that. So Angular will get that token from the Spring Boot itself. Okay, so this way, so this is the earlier way how to do that. So you have to pass the header, it's kind of hard coded. now what you are going to do, that passing the URL and the make that post call username password. And earlier what happened, like username and the basic authentication, basic auth, you stored in the session storage. Here in the session storage you stored the token and the username. And after that in the interceptor, earlier we are using that basic auth because here I have stored in the session storage as the basic auth. Now it's stored at the session storage as the token. So just a one line change, instead of that basic auth I change it to the token. And every interceptor, what's the function of interceptor? For every outgoing request, it will set the header authorization session storage dot get item and the secret value. Okay, and let me show the code. Okay, here you will see that this is not the code, this is the old code. Okay, and what I am going to do it here, you see that bearer, right? In the postman also you see that bearer. So I make that token string, I get the token, uh, user data from token from the SpringBoot and JWT token, adding the bearer and token string, and stored in the session storage. And here authorization I have set. Now let me check from the Angular itself. So 4200. So let me hit person directly. Okay, so if I click on the find user, so what happened? So what I'm trying to do, if you click on the find user, so which one it is going to invoke? It is going to invoke that all users. Okay, what is all users? So in the user controller it's the all users. So what we got, that 403. So same thing, like if we make it like localhost 8081, and if we do, so it's not authenticated. So same thing what I got it now. So we get 403. Now here also 403 because directly I am hitting URL. Okay, so let me log out and go back to that here. And what's the user ID password? It is the encoded value, so I will use this one, Java in use, and it's encrypted one, password, Java in use and password. Okay, so let me check with the Java in use, and it's a password. So here I have logged in and see it's successfully authenticated. And after click on the find user, so during find users, what happened, that you get the data. Why you got this data correctly? Because uh, every interceptor it set header authorization. So same thing what we set the header in the postman. Okay, so this way we can easily get the data from, so it's the service and where I have written the interceptor. So if we are checking the token, and if it is successful, we are going to access. So you are allowed to access it. Okay, hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Keep subscribing. I will discuss the ribbon and any other interesting topic in next session. Thank you very much.